What's up, everyone? Richard from Rich Pokebets here, and check me out. I am doing some regular uploads. I told you I would. I had a crazy first half of the summer. The second half isn't as crazy, so I'm gonna have some more regular uploads, at least once a week, hopefully twice. So today's video, we're going to go over just looking at every set so far in the Sword and Shield era and the Scarlet and Violet era and see which one is worth more. So which one has the best total amount of pools in it, as well as looking at the average pool per card, because you'll see as we go through this list, some sets have a small amount of cards in them, and so naturally the total value is going to be lower. But if you look at it at a per card level, it starts to even out a little bit. So there's 25 sets, which is really nice, a nice round number of 25. And before I dive into this top 25 list, let me know your thoughts. Do you think the top 10 is going to be primarily Sword and Shield? Do you think Scarlet and Violet is going to be able to make it to the top of the list? I will give you my guesses coming into this. I already know the answers, but as I was building this together, my assumption was we were going to see a lot of Sword and Shield at the bottom, and then all of Scarlet and Violet in the middle, minus maybe like 151, and then like the top like 10, mostly Sword and Shield. So we'll see how that held up. At number 25, we have the worst set by a long shot, and that is Darkness Ablaze. So this was an earlier set in the Sword and Shield. The highest card right now is a Charizard that I think is like around $25 right now. And so for 201 cards, you're only getting $164 worth of value. That's pretty crappy. So they rank actually in last place in the total value and average per card. Don't really have much to say about this set other than a booster box is $150. And so if you open a booster box, you might as well just go ahead and buy the whole master set. At number 24, we have another set that I knew would be at the bottom, Obsidian Flames. And so similar to Darkness Ablaze, it's being held up by a Charizard card, which I believe is like somewhere between $50 and $60 at Charizard SIR. Not a bad looking card. And with this being a relatively newer set still, like only a year old, we can see these prices, like they're gonna go up, naturally they're gonna go up. The Scarlet and Violet era is gonna go up once like all of the excitement and wave of the Sword and Shield is over. But for now, it's one of the lowest total market values, and at just under $1 per card. And so it puts it at 24th on the list. And just right above it is the Sword and Shield base. And so we don't really have a ton in this set. We have that Snorlax looking card. It's a nice looking card in there with like the earth as its stomach. But again, this is a higher volume of like number of cards set. And so that's kind of carrying the total market price of $331. And so no real huge pulls from this set, just as the previous two, which is why it's in that 23rd spot. And similar to Sword and Shield base, we have Vivid Voltage. Wow, Vivid Voltage. Can I speak? There we go. This has the Rainbow Chonkachu, which is a really cool card. Me personally, not being around at the beginning of the Sword and Shield era, I don't think it's that great of a card. I really don't like the rainbows in general in any set, but it is super hard to pull, which is why it has some dollar amount behind it. But similar to the sets before it, doesn't really do the trick overall, and so that's why it's at 22. At number 21, this was one that I thought would be in the bottom three, Pokemon Go. And so I'm actually surprised to see it at number 21 because it's super hated on. There's not too many great pulls in there. You have the Mewtwo, you've got like a Radiant Charizard in there, which is competitive, but overall, just not a lot of cards. You have 91 if you're including the peel off Dittos in the cards, which actually they're like $1.50. They're a lot more than I thought they would be. But overall, just not a great set. And so you do have, like I said, a couple top cards with like Mewtwo that are kind of carrying the set, which is why you see the average like cost per card being around $2.29. But overall, with just such a small set, you don't see a lot of market value, which is why it's ranked at 21. At 20, we see another base set, which is going to be Scarlet and Violet base. Personally, I think this is criminally underrated. I've talked about this in previous videos. I really like the set. I love the Ralts, Krylia, Gardevoir line. Miriam's a popular card as well too, and so the Miraidon, Koraidon are great looking cards. I can see this set going just up and up, further up on this list as time goes on, but for the time being, it is at number 20. So it does make the top 20, which I guess I can be happy about, but overall, just not too many pulls from that set that are actually worth a lot of money. A lot of the alt arts and full arts are like $1 or $2, and so you're not really going to get a lot when you open this set. Similar to that, we have Shining Fates, where we have a cool Charizard card as well too, but like overall, like the baby shinies aren't really worth a lot of money. This set was incredibly overprinted, which is why I think the price is a lot lower. If it was normally printed like other Sword and Shield sets or sets we see in Scarlet Violet era, I could see it being a little bit higher, but it's just not, to say the least. And so, yeah, there's other shiny sets that are much better than this that we will see later in this list. And so after Shining Fates, we do have Rebel Clash. A lot of people call it Rebel Trash, but it's 18 out of 25. So there are several other sets behind it that are trashier, if you want to look at it that way. So $374 of pools, 209 cards. And so again, nothing really to speak about too much with this set. It's just a very average set at the end of the day. And so, yeah, after that though is a set that I absolutely love, and that is Celebrations. Celebration is at number 17, which kind of breaks my heart because I love this set. I was hoping it would be like at least the top 15, closer to the top 10, but it is not. It is number 17. The reason for this, there is some bias. There are only 50 cards, and so naturally the market price is going to be incredibly low. You've got like the 25 classic cards and then the 25 new cards for the release of the set. And so with that being said, you have the Charizard that is, I think, about $70, which is a great pool. You have Mega Rayquaza, you have Umbreon, you have the Gold Mew as well too. And so it's a great fun set to collect. That $177 price though, if you're wanting to collect it, just go ahead and buy it. You know, it's not that expensive, and you can have some pretty cool cards and a lot of nostalgic memories with that classic collection. At number 16, probably one of my least favorite sets of the Sword and Shield era is Silver Tempest. So Silver Tempest, yes, it has that Lugia, and it's a really expensive card. I don't really like the art. I don't like how dark it is. It's kind of like you don't get to see a lot. Unless you're actually holding the card, then you can see a little bit more. But like overall, yeah, I don't like a lot of the pulls that you do get in that set. So I think it's like the Reggie Drago, the Vulpix is cute looking card, but not really worth anything. And so yeah, this set's getting heavily carried by the Lugia, which I believe is like $200 plus dollars right now. Battle Styles is another set that is just carried by another card. So you have the Tyranitar, which is a really expensive card. If I look it up right here, that Tyranitar currently is worth almost $200, so about $180 right now. And so it's definitely carrying this set quite a bit. It's an amazing card. I absolutely love that card. Would love to add it in my collection personally, but that's where we see a lot of the weights for just the total market price and average cost per price for Battle Styles. So that's sitting at number 15. At a tie for number 13, we can go ahead and skip 14. We have Paradox Rift on one end, and we have Brilliant Stars on another end. In my opinion, two completely different sets, one being modern with all the futuristic cards, one being a card that brought us to the Trainer Gallery. And so we see a lot of cards in both of these sets that are really nice. Paradox Rift is actually going up quite a bit, not so much like the Roaring Moon or Iron Valiant, but we see a lot of the alt rares like the Groudon, like the Steelix, that are going up quite a bit, that are going to potentially start pushing this set to the next level and eventually passing some of these Sword and Shield sets that we see. Brilliant Stars, again, another Charizard set that's going to be the top chase. It's our best performing Charizard set by far, unless you include 151 spoilers, that's ahead, but that's just all 151. I don't just count the Charizard, but yeah, it's a great set. It's got amazing trainer galleries, but overall just going to be right outside the top 10. And we got another tie. Paldea Evolved and Temporal Forces are at the 11th spot. Honestly, these are two of my favorite sets of the Scarlet and Violet era. I love the SIRs in each of these sets. You've got the Magikarp alt rare in Paldea Evolved, which is starting to go for crazy stupid amounts of dollars. I think some are selling close to 200 now, which is just so stupid. I am almost close to mastering both these sets, like 90-ish plus % complete for both. And so Temporal Forces has the legendary dogs in their ancient form, so like Walking Wake, Raging Bolt, and Gouging Fire. I didn't think I could remember those, but I did. There you go. And you also have Morty's Conviction, which is that trainer with the Gengar. I was lucky enough to pull one of those, which I'm really excited about. Not the best condition, but it's looks pretty in my binder. But yeah, both of those are 11, just outside the top 10. Paldea Evolved, I think, I don't want to say it's peaked, but I don't think it's going to have a ton of growth in like the next 6 months. Temporal Forces, same thing. I think we actually might see it go down a little bit with some of the legendary dogs going down in prices, but only time will tell for that. Okay, we've officially reached our top 10, and number 10 is quite, I don't know the exact word you want to say for it, but it really shouldn't be there. It's kind of like that meme of the polar bear in Texas that you're just like, how the heck did you get here? But it is Champion's Path, a set that I've actually never opened myself. I've never really seen anyone open, just because everyone talks about how garbage it is. It says, like, people say there's just like a Charizard card or two in there, and that's really it. But when you have only 80 cards in the set and 2 of them are pushing $200, that's going to put a lot of weight in your average cost per card. And so you can see that's at $4.98. Total value is just under $400. And so when you look at total value, it ranks 16. When you look at price per card, it's number 3 overall. And so again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I probably could have done this better, but since I weighted both of those categories 50-50, Champion's Path ends up being number 10. So take it or leave it, take it as you want, but according to my setup, it's number 10, and I'm so sorry about that. I will do better. At number 9, we do have Astral Radiance, and so that Machamp V is just skyrocketing. It's getting close to $200, which I think it deserves to be higher than it was 6 months ago, where it was just kind of floating around $100. I don't think it should be that 180. I think like 140 is a better price for it, maybe 150, but either way, it's a really cool card. It's carrying all those plates. But you also have the Starmie V, which I know is a really popular card as well too. I think it's a great card. $55 again, maybe not so much. But then you have the Origin Form, Dialga, and Palkia as well too, that are just kind of the top 4 of the set. Oh, and the Beedrill. The Beedrill is a cool card too, and I think that's actually priced right. But yeah, Astral Radiance is quite the sleeper. If you'd asked me before where it would have fell in this top 25, my guess is probably like around 15. But for it to be number 9, like, kind of just shows how strong the set is. At number 8, we have Crown Zenith, and so naturally we all knew this would be top 10. I thought it would be a lot higher, but I think prices are just going to continue to keep going up and up and up, which will eventually make this a top 5 set. You've got all the gold stars, which are amazing, the Mewtwo. Personally, my favorite from the set is that Mew, the Sleeping Mew. I think it's just such a pretty card. Yeah, you have Crown Zenith in top 10 in both categories. The market price for the set is $865, and the cost per, I always want to say ticket, cost per card, there we go, is $3.76. And just slightly, ever so slightly above this set is Scarlet and Violet 151. So that has a market price of $815, so lower than Crown Zenith, but the price per card, now I'm going to say price per pack. The price per card, the price per card is $3.92, and so slightly higher. And so I think this card or I think the set obviously has the Charizard, which is the highest value at around like $110, $115, but it has so many cards in between that like $20 and $50 range, which is why it's such a fun set to open. Not just the nostalgia of these original cards that you grew up with if you are in your late 20s, early 30s, you know, mid 30s, even older probably. But like, yeah, there's just so much. It's just worth it when you open the set. Like even like a Caterpie illustration rare, I look at that card and it's like $4 or $5, and I'm like, this is a cool looking card, and I'm happy to pull that. After that, we have Lost Origin at number 6. And so Lost Origin, obviously the number 1 card in that set is going to be the Giratina. As I pull up just my list here, you have the Aerodactyl that is above $100, the Rotom V, which is above 40, and then the 2 Trainer Gallery Pikachus are 38 and 26. The number 1 chase card is going to be that Giratina. It's super hard to pull in this set, so I definitely would not recommend opening it yourself. But it does have one of the highest market prices or values of $933 for the set to get all the cards. And so we're getting close to that $1,000 mark, which is pretty incredible. And because of that Giratina being so high, the price per card is $3.78. Paldean Fates is our next set at number 5, which I am, again, surprised to see another Scarlet and Violet set up here. I thought 151 would be the only one in the top 10, but it is at number 5, Paldean Fates. And so it's got so many baby shinies in there that are just awesome. You have the Pikachu, you have the Charmander, the Pidgey's a popular one, Xatu is a super hard random one to get. I remember when this set came out, there was so much excitement, and then all that excitement went away once everyone realized it was basically kind of like a reprint set. All like the original common and uncommons were just reprints. All the full art shinies were just reprints. And so many people were just kind of going into the set thinking like, it's not going to be that great of a set. It's going to be a flop like Shining Fates, but it is number 5. You've got that Charizard, which is still one of the top cards in the Scarlet and Violet era. And you've got amazing cards like the Bubble Mew and the Gardevoir, which are the SIRs, which are really great too. You have another Iono in there as well, the Penny with the Umbreon. You've got so many great cards in there that this set is just going to be so fun to open in the future, and one of those more popular ones that if you're looking to invest, I would invest in this if you can, just because a lot of people are going to want to rip it, and it's super forgiving just because 1 in every 3 packs or so, or 4, you do get a hit, and so it's super rewarding to open. Right after that, we have Fusion Strike. So Fusion Strike is kind of skewed why it's up here, honestly. And so it has a total value of $1,074. And this is because of, you have the Gengar VMAX, you have the Umbreon VMAX, you have the Mew VMAX, and even the Mew V. All those are amazing cards. But this has by far and away the most cards out of any Sword and Shield set. And so I think Lost Origin is number 2, and it's got about 40 less cards than Fusion Strike. And so because there's a lot of cards, naturally the market value is going to be a lot higher. But like I said, it has a ton of great hits. Because there's so many cards in the set, it's super hard to pull the cards that you want. But when you do hit them, it is so rewarding. Probably the second most rewarding set to pull good cards in both of these eras. At number 2, we have Chilling Reign. Chilling Reign is honestly like, I don't want to say it's a sleeper because a lot of people do know that it's really good. But when I saw like the total price, I was kind of mind blown. So I knew the Blaziken VMAX was popping off. That's about $350 right now. But then you have the Galarian Moltres at $170. You have the Shadow Rider Calyrex at $110. You have the Galarian Articuno, the Snorlax Gold. Like, you have so many cards. I think you have like close to 10 cards that are like 50 or higher, or like 40 or higher. And so there is a lot that this set offers. And so that's why it's so high. The price per card is close to $7, which again is just absolutely mind-blowing. That's all dependent if you can hit the top cards or not. But a really great set to open. It's got a great trainer gallery. It's actually, it doesn't. It does not have a trainer gallery. There we go. But yeah, it's got a lot of great cards to pull in. It's called Chilling Pain for a reason. So I don't recommend throwing about $1,600, $1,700 to just master it, but definitely don't rip the packs. You are not going to be happy. And with not being happy and ripping packs, our number one set, which you probably already knew going into this video, is Evolving Skies. So number two, the total market value had 1,600. Evolving Skies has 3,900, more than twice as much of a market value as Chilling Reign. Evolving Skies has some of the best cards in the Sword and Shield era. You have the Umbreon, obviously. You've got the Rayquaza, the Leafeon, Glaceon. Like, the evolutions in there are just so popular, and the artwork is just so amazing too. It's one of those, like, if you hit kind of sets where you get your money back and more. It's got 8 cards over $100 right now, with 3 more being in the 90s. And so pretty soon, probably at the end of the year, we're gonna have more than 10 cards in Evolving Skies at over $100. And Umbreon might get back to close to 1,000, who knows? And so again, do not recommend opening this set, but man, it has some of the best artwork. I've opened a few packs myself, maybe 10. Haven't got anything great. I think like a few of the Evolution V cards, but that was enough for me to just kind of realize I should never open this set again. And so I've kind of stayed away from that, but I do love watching people open that set, and I do love looking at the cards. Let me know what you thought of the list. Were your predictions right? Were they wrong? Obviously, Evolving Skies, we all knew would be number one, but were you surprised at all the other sets and what order they came in this list? And so let me know what's your favorite set, and I'll see you all in the next video.